Class 9 students, this is chapter number 6, My Childhood from Beehive Book. In this chapter, there is an autobiography that is written by our ex Honorable President, Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam. What is the meaning of an autobiography? An autobiography is an account of our own life. He has written a book that is named as Wings of Fire, and he has spoken about his childhood, about his parents, about his family, about his siblings, etc. He was also a former scientist whose projects in space nuclear technology has guided India into the 21st century. He was our 11th president in 2002. Everywhere in this chapter, the pronoun I has been used. Why? Because he has written his own autobiography. He was born into a middle class Tamil family where in the talent town of Rameshwaram in Madras state. His father's name was Zainul Abdin, and he was a kind of a very strict and a plain man. He did not get much formal education, neither he was very much educated nor he was having any wealth. But despite disadvantages, he was having great innate wisdom and also his spirit was generous. Overall, he was a generous kind of a man. And his mother, Ashiyama, he did not recall exactly the number of the people she used to feed every day, but APJ Abdul Kalam was sure that there were far more outsiders that used to eat with their family members. Now we in the second point. He was also a child that was a short boy with rather undistinguished looks. He was born to a tall and handsome parents. He used to live in his ancestral house. Ancestral means the house that was built by their ancestors, grandparents, great parents, etc. It was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a pakka house that was made up of limestone and brick, where on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. His father, austere father means plain but strict. He is used to avoid all the comforts and luxuries that he did not think were really essential. He avoided and show off. He did not believe in all these things. But then also in terms of food, medicines or clothes, the basic articles that are required by a normal human being were all provided to his children, but he did not drag them into any inessential and the comforts that are not required. So that is why Kalam's childhood was very secured, both materialist in a materialistic way and in an emotional way. Now over here, during the Second World War in 1939, Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam was 8 years old, and for at that time there was a sudden rise in the demand for tamarind seeds over there in the market. So Mr. Kalam he used to collect the seeds and sold them to a provision shop on the Mosque Street. And for his day's collection, he used to get the sum of one anna that was quite enough for him. And his brother-in-law, Mr. Jalaluddin, he used to tell him the stories about the war, which he would later attempt to trace in the headlines. Now over there, their area was isolated. It was unaffected by the war. But soon India was also forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. Whenever there is a war or any pandemic situation, a country declares emergency. And over there, what happened? The first casualty that came